record with any sort of violent history. So the other 93% are people that, like Lolita, who's working at a hotel and cleaning your bedroom. And that is a literal stat. That's a literal stat from ICE.
Appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Ben from Morrison. Who are we doing next? Bill?
Oh, let's do Jim in Denver.
Jim, Denver. You're up with Jeff and
Michael,
Bill.
You're up next.
Good morning.
So hang with us, Michael. Yeah. Hey, Jim.
Hey, good morning, guys. Listen, this homelessness issue, I think we need the homeless. They're a necessary evil, just like Democrats. It gives us something to talk about because realistically, we might be able to go another 3 weeks without talking about Epstein in any way. And so that provides a benefit.
All right. Thanks, Jim, for the call. Jim's line will be open, 303-696-1971. Let's go to Michael in Denver. Good morning, Michael. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Jeff and Bill, good morning. I need to give credit to this, to my wife. So this is her statement, and I back it 100%. Here's the problem. People on the street have made a decision. In most cases, have made a decision. That decision is affecting me, my family, and the entire community. So by their decision, we, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens are suffering as a result. We're losing businesses. Crime rate is high. People are getting addicted to drugs. So what Trump is doing is what I think needs to be done. You have to remove those people from this society. You have to put them somewhere, like build a facility out at DIA. We've got plenty of land out there. We've got all the infrastructure that's needed. Build a facility. What do? Take these people off the street, put them out there. Those that need help will get mental help, will get help. Those that don't, that just have a decision where I like to do what I want to do when I want to do it, have a choice. Get productive or stay right here where you are, buddy. And that's the choice. But at least they're being separated from people that are producing in this society. We've destroyed downtown Denver as a result of this homeless issue and illegal immigration. We have destroyed it. So separate them out, get the people that need help there, and the people that don't, stay. That's where they live.
Michael, and I actually think that's rather compassionate because the alternative right now in what's deemed compassion is to allow somebody to live drug addicted in a tent, dying before our own eyes, creating all these problems. So like I pointed out, people get concerned about institutions. Well, what about the institutional abuse? Yep, it's probably going to happen. I'm sorry. It does happen. And we can do our best to put in operations to try to stop that. But the amount of abuse that takes place on the streets, particularly if you are a homeless woman, the amount of sexual abuse and rape that takes place is so inhumane. And the only reason we don't talk about it is we don't see it. So we decided as a nation, we're not going to measure this. We're not going to look at it. It's going to happen in corners far away from my house. And we deem that somehow more compassionate than actually creating an institution. And to your point as well, the secondary consequences of these decisions. The city of Denver is going broke because half of its revenue comes from sales tax. You only get sales tax if people come to your city. There's no other way to get it. So if they're not going to come to your city, you don't get the money in to do all the programs you want. And they're not coming because of safety concerns, homelessness, drug use. So you've got to address this. And if it's get help, there are so many institutions that are willing to help you. Great organizations that will walk you, provide housing, compassion, and get you the help you need. But you can no longer choose to affect everybody else's lives by living homeless and drug addicted in a tent. And now we're going to create an option. And I think you're right. And I think Trump's right, Michael, to go to that institution. Go ahead.
Let me quickly tell you how we're going to pay for it. You can't tell me that in a $44 billion budget for the state of Colorado, there isn't enough money to establish a facility in a location. You cannot tell me that. I will not believe that. So it is not a matter of raising taxes. It's not a matter of me paying more money. It's a matter of looking what's being wasted. And if it's not being wasted, cutting existing programs. Because this has to take priority, or we are going to go broke, because people will not come here to live and establish businesses and all the other things that raise tax revenue. Something needs to be done, and that's my solution.
Yeah, I understand, Michael. The problem I've got is we went through this whole idea of, DOGE and the efficiencies of government and finding the waste, fraud, and abuse. Yet when Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, it still is deficit spending.
According to the CBO.
According
to the CBO.
No, according to math. According to math.
Come on.
No, his expenditures are larger than revenues. It's just math. We can talk about the number based on the CBO, and we can disagree about that. But as a whole, he's deficit spending. He's spending more than revenues are generated, and that's it. So when we talk about the idea that we're going to find the efficiencies and the waste, fraud, and abuse, even Donald Trump with DOGE still managed to expand the debt and deficit spend. So be careful about that being the solution.
I mean, I don't get it. I mean, what you're saying to Michael, that looking for cuts you can't find? Or,
No.
What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, it's always great from your personal perspective that we're going to go after waste, fraud, and abuse.
Well, he pointed out in a $44 billion budget, we can't find the money to build this.
We have hundreds of billions of dollars in our budget. We have $1 trillion budget, and yet we can't find ways to build it nationally. We don't have enough in our $1 trillion budget for nationally. We can't have enough money found that we could build these institutions on a federal level. I'm just using the same argument.
I don't get what you're saying, though. Well, are you saying that we can't? We're not going to find it?
No, because we're not motivated to, because we're not going to have my own ox gored. That I'm sure Michael can point out a whole bunch of programs that he may like, but you may disagree with some of them. And then you put out programs, and that perhaps Beverly or Joe on the phone lines may disagree with them. I may point out programs we can cut, and you may disagree with them. The idea that we can easily find this by this process of all of us deciding what we don't want to spend for, we've seen that. I have been promised that for decades. I'm tired of wasting any of my energy or emotion on listening to that promise that because the budget's so good, we can find the money somewhere. Somehow no one's found it, ever, and we keep spending more. That's it. I think it's a false promise. I'm just not going to entertain a false promise. That's it. That's the only thing.
Let's talk Guy Ree's great operation taking place. I'd never visited a Guy Ree's. Whenever we wanted to paint or something like that or improve our home, we went to one of those big box stores, and I walked into the Guy Ree's over the weekend, and amazing, right? It's like a whole nother level of professional design work, creativity, options for custom blinds, shades, shutters. We spent about an hour with Crystal. They have so many blind options, and they have all these remote control options for blinds. It's really amazing what they can do. Crystal, a total pro, walked us through everything, helped us find the perfect options to enhance and look the functionality of our space. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Guy Ree's has the solution. Their designers are the experts, and they help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor, even lots of paint options. Here's the best part. They offered a personalized in-home consultation. They'll come to you directly, and they bring like samples so you can see how the light in your house fits with all of it. So why would you just show up to some guy at a big box store that's going to hand you a bucket of paint when you can actually get quality personalized service? Visit Guy Ree's to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com. GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Guy Ree's. You'll thank me later. We'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Wake up, Denver. There's no better place to start your morning than IHOP, where the pancakes are fluffy, the coffee is hot, and the smiles are endless. Wednesday, August 27th, join Jeff and Bill as they broadcast their show live from IHOP at 1595 South Colorado Boulevard in Denver. You're officially invited to be part of the excitement. Come grab your favorite breakfast and watch the Jeff and Bill Show in action from 6 to 10 a.m. Don't forget to try the special Jeff and Bill breakfast. Pancakes, any style eggs, and crispy bacon, all for just $7.10. It's a deal as good as their hot takes. All they need is you. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and kick off your day with great food and great conversation. See you Wednesday, August 27th at IHOP.
wants to build more insane asylums to house the mentally ill homeless. Compassionate or abusive? Can he do it? You expect Republicans to pay for this. Let's go to the phone lines. Beverly, Aurora. Good morning, Beverly. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. When I was in the Air Force, I had a mental breakdown, and ultimately I was diagnosed as bipolar. The only reason I accepted treatment was that I felt that I had to do whatever my superior officer said. So he drove me over to Fitzsimmons to the psych ward, and I was so disappointed because I had been depressed all my life, and at this point I was manic, and that's why they could see there was something wrong, and they hospitalized me. I didn't want to take the Thorazine shot that they were going to give me to take me off my high. I had been awake 24 hours a day, I believe, for 5 days. I was going through hell. And they fixed it, actually, by giving me the shot. But if I hadn't felt that I had to obey the superior officer, I would not have accepted being hospitalized of my own will. When you have what I have, you feel wonderful when you're high and you don't want to lose it. And that's not a drug high. That's a high you have because you're bipolar. So I might have wound up homeless. And I have to tell you, there are people on this. I was only in the hospital maybe for 6 months. So people that are out on the street, a lot of them are like me. They're refusing treatment. But if they just were put in the hospital for 6 months, they could possibly get out and get a job like I did.
I mean,
so
Joe,
they don't have to be
Beverly, you're
pardon?
saying that it took somebody forcing you into that. I mean, you went because there was a commanding officer, but you really didn't have much of a choice, and that saved your life.
Yes, exactly. Well, it saved me from living on the street, and yes, probably saved my life, yes.
And how are you doing today, Beverly?
Pardon me, how am I doing today? I'm fine. Bipolar patients very often for a long time will occasionally decide they don't need the medicine because they feel fine. So they flush it or dump it and don't take it, and then they wind up high again. This is happening to my nephew right now.
Now, Beverly, I got a question for you. That's got to be really hard to see your nephew go through that as well. What would have been your reaction at the time, and what do you think your path forward would have been if instead of the requests and things, again, you were in the military, from your commanding officer, if instead you were a private citizen and the state came and grabbed you and said, Beverly, you've got bipolar, we're worried about you, and they put you into an institution in order to get your care. It's not because you followed the order of your CO. It's that the state decide, or we could even do it with the military where the MPs show up. And it's not a question, Beverly. It's a, we are going to escort you into this facility and now you'll receive treatment. How would you have reacted then, in your opinion?
I would have fought like hell not to go.
See, that's my worrisome is when we talk about the idea of rounding up the homelessness, how we assume they're going to go, oh, well, obviously you've got my best interest at heart. I'm worried they're going to react like you.
No, it's like I said, I believe all of them would have fought like hell not to go.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be told they're mentally ill. And yes, I would have fought it. But if they had what happened when I did get to the hospital, I didn't want to take the Thorazine orally. I thought it was, and then my best friend convinced me do it because the doctor said, well, you either take the pill or you got a shot. You're going to have it one way or the other. So that calmed me down. But for a long time in the hospital, you don't want to accept that you're mentally ill, and that's why the people, they keep going off their meds. So if you could just get them into the hospital long enough to get them to accept the treatment, come off the high, and try to work out a livable lifestyle for them. Maybe not everybody would be as resistant to it as I am. Maybe somebody has better sense than I do. And
Beverly, stats pull this out. When it comes to psychiatric drugs, because we rely on this community approach model, which is essentially we're not going to do anything, you just live out in our community. The percentages that take drugs regularly to help their treatment is around 4%. In other countries, it's between 20 and 38%. So we're nowhere near providing the medication to deal with psychiatric health issues where other countries are. And that's part of this community approach model where we just let them live out in the streets. Beverly, great call.
Yeah,
sure appreciate
thanks,
it.
Glad you're doing
We'll
better.
continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
voted like the best riff of all time.
Yeah. In fact, this is one of the best. This song, Jack White, again, I'm sorry, tangent. He was hanging on to this for years just in case he was ever asked to write a theme song for a James Bond movie. And eventually he figured that's never going to happen. That's why he laid this song down. This originally...
Really?
Yeah, this is originally... Now, again, they were asked later on, so he had to do something else, and it came out with something else there. But yeah, the original idea is, what would I do if I was going to write a theme song for James Bond? That's where this comes from.
But I thought this was like rated the best riff of all time
it
or
is.
something like that.
Also, you know where Seven Nation Army comes from Jack White's childhood. He misunderstood something his mom was saying. His mom was talking about the Salvation Army. He thought that she said Seven Nation Army. So it's a play on Salvation Army. Remember that next time you hear Seven Nation Army, he's thinking Salvation Army. Yeah, as a kid.
All right, Donald Trump wants to build more insane asylums. Compassionate or abusive? Let's go to Joe, Denver. Good morning, Joe. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hi, good morning. I can see kind of both sides. I see Billy's side of point. However, I do find that, like when I taught, they said they didn't have money for this or that, but when I really needed something, they found the money. So I think they usually can find it if they want. But I forgot to say, God bless Beverly. Another thing is that I have a family situation. I can see in these family situations, both married to bipolar women. One, they take the medicine, the other one they don't. The medicine has really helped this individual, extremely. But what I really want to say is that, first of all, you have to have the patience of God to be working with these people, many of them. You have to have kindness and God's heart. And you have to monitor them, because what I found from watching these people, they do well for a while, and then they'll go up or down or whatever. Even the medicine has to be adjusted, and you have to get them monitored all the time, I think. I think that's one of the things to keep it well and going well.
Now,
That's
Joe,
what
I
I've seen.
think you're right there. The question is, if we're going to monitor it, et cetera, then for me, you're talking about a large healthcare system and healthcare complex, which gets awful close to that dangerous word the GOP doesn't like, socialism, because it would have to be a nationalized healthcare
Billy.
system.
You have to have a good psychiatrist, because this young lady that is going to this one, it took a really smart guy. She went to some before when she was on, Medicaid, and it was screwed up. But we got her to a really good one. She's doing really well and is monitored frequently, but it's not all the time.
What do we do with the homeless? Because they're not going to have the financial resources. That's where I'm talking about the idea that this is going to be a socialist system.
Billy, you're saying we can't get the money, and I'm telling you,
we found it for wolves.
And you know what? That's right. And like I said, when I was teaching, they tell you, we don't have the money.
Oh, we're out of time, Joe. Great
we
call.
don't have
You're
Joe. There's
listening
not any time
to
left.
Jeff and Bill.
This is 710 KNUS. We'll see you tomorrow.